Fantastic. Hi, I'm Melanie Vetter, and I'm really glad that you're here. Gratitude is something that I really focus on and certainly haven't perfected. Gratitude, like other habits of positivity, are wonderful for helping us feel more upbeat and also counteract that natural negativity that our brain is built for. Back in the olden days when we were living on the savannah and there were lions and other things that might kill us, we were always searching out for danger. And our brain still has that in it, but we can override it. We can help ourselves be more optimistic, more upbeat, more energized in a positive way by focusing on the good in our lives. And gratitude is basically that, focusing on what's good in our lives, even in the middle of a pandemic, even in the middle of struggle, that there's always something in our life that we can focus on that's good. And today we're going to do one of my absolute favorite gratitude practices, which is writing a letter to someone else for gratitude. And not only do you get to focus on how this person made you feel grateful, you also get to make them feel grateful when you send them the letter, or you can pick up the phone and read it to them. Either way, it works both ways. So my first thing is to say gratitude to you, Felicia, for inviting me. And I really love being here at HAYVN. You've built this beautiful place for women and men, and it's just a community. I can feel it, even though I'm across the country, just by looking at your website and all the programs that are happening. So as I said, gratitude is a habit of positivity. There are other habits of positivity as well, such as noticing beauty or creativity that can also help us have optimism and joy. But we're going to focus on gratitude. And the major reason I think gratitude is so important right now is that we're kind of all a little bit worn down by what's going on. And so our capacity for stress, our capacity for sadness, our capacity for the negative is actually very low right now. Focusing on the positive actually helps us build capacity to deal with stress. So let me give you an example. If you're driving down the highway and somebody cuts you off, if you have lots of capacity, if you're feeling calm and your nervous system is not on high alert, you're going to say, he didn't see me or she didn't see me. But if your capacity is low, you might slam on your horn, you might curse that person, you might do all these things that actually are really bad for your body. All that cortisol coming into your body further depletes your capacity. So building our capacity for stress is really important right now. And gratitude, noticing the good in our own lives, noticing the good in the world, is phenomenal for helping us build that capacity and deal with stress in a more positive way. So letter writing helps you slow down and notice the good in your relationships with other people. And in that way, the gratitude also enhances connection, because when you notice what's great about somebody else, you feel more deeply connected to them. and when you share that with them, they feel more deeply connected with you. And connection is another way that we build capacity and reduce stress. So double bonus, feels good and it helps us build capacity. So gratitude letters, what is different about these letters? Not that much, but the heart of all great letters, gratitude letters included, is to include story, reflection, and love. And that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to take you step by step and show you how to do this. But you as a human are a natural born storyteller. So you just have to remember how to tell those stories in your letters. And you're going to be able to do this no problem. So take your handout that's here. And if you're watching the replay and you don't have it yet, you could pause and grab it. But if you don't have it, I will walk you through the prompts as well. So on page 1, it says, who are you grateful for? And it says, think about 5 people in your life that you're especially grateful for. And why am I asking you to do 5? Right? I'm doing this for 2 reasons. First, by actually focusing on 5 people, I'm asking you to notice the goodness in your life. So if you, yes, if you just did 1, you would notice the goodness in your life. But if you can say 5 people who you're grateful for, you can start to feel like, well, I really have some support out there. I have people who care about me. I have people I care about. And then the other one is our humble dependence on others. We are not here alone. We need other people. We depend upon them for love, for help, for kindness, for compassion. And so remembering that we have those people in our lives is also a way to expand your feeling of that heart feeling. And finally, I'm hoping that you're going to love this process. And then when you do, you have 4 more people to write to, because we're going to pick one of the people on this list, and then we're going to write a letter. So go ahead and take a few moments to write down not only the name, but just a note. Why are you grateful? How do they make you feel? Let's go ahead and take a few minutes to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to join you as well. Okay. Has everybody had a chance to write 5 people? Okay, let's go ahead and turn to the next page. And we're going to skip the big block and come back to it at the top. And because I want to dive, if we have time, we'll come back to that. I want to get into the writing of the letter. So writing a letter of gratitude is a great way to show somebody else why they matter to you. And that's kind of the reflection piece of it. But I want you to not just tell them generically why they're important to you. I want you to get specific. It turns out that people who are the most gratitude are habitually specific. What do I mean by that? They actually show details of why the person helped them, or why the person is lovable, or why the person matters to them. So I'm going to start, and when they do that, they often use stories that are known just between the person they're writing to and themselves. So I'm going to just give you a little example of a letter. I'm going to read first with no story, no real reflection. And then it's a very short letter. You'll see in this short letter how the writer was able to build in some story and reflection. And I want to listen for the difference and tell me what you think. So, dear Robin, it was great seeing you in Boston last week. Thanks for sending me that book. It looks wonderful. I look forward to reading. I love the book, and I'm so grateful for our friendship. With love. So that's just bare bones. Now here's the actual letter she wrote. Dear Robin, it was beyond wonderful seeing you in Boston last week. The book from the Matisse exhibit that we saw together just arrived. Opening it up made me remember all over again the fun time we had over those 3 days and how much your friendship means to me. You know how much I love art books, and the book you sent is even more special because of the memories. Thank you for thinking of me in such a generous way. I've been poring over the pictures of the paintings in the book. I can hear your voice while I read the descriptions. Our shared love of art is one of the many things that brings us close. Of course, good chocolate and laughing are two others. Can you believe we've been friends for over 30 years? Did you know there is also a Matisse exhibit out here in San Francisco? I cannot think of anyone I would rather see it with than you, but I will think of you while I walk around the museum. I love the book and I'm so grateful for our friendship. With love. So what do you notice? Anyone want to share with me what you noticed between those two?
I noticed that she ended up adding like little details from their 30 years of being friendship into the letter, which showed that they like have a history and that they truly care for each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And those details couldn't be details that you or I had with that person, right? So they're
Yeah,
very
no.
personal, very detailed. Yeah. Anything else? Which one do you think would be, well, I'm sure I know the answer, but which one would be more impactful?
Yeah, definitely the second one.
Yeah,
It actually sounds, it's funny, it sounds like an 18th century writing, but more
Right.
than
It,
it's yeah, there's one thing it's funny because I was just telling Ariana beforehand, it's like, there's writing emails to get something done, which is the business email versus these kind of thank you letters, which
yeah.
really to add the detail and it's like to know when to do what.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And in these letters, knowing how to make the person feel how you want them to feel is really important. So I think that that woman wanted to make her friend feel her gratitude and how much that the person knew her because she gave her the perfect gift.
Mhm.
And that's what makes a letter really impactful is that she uses some stories and she reflects on why they're important, and then she shares her gratitude or her love. So those are the three key points to any great gratitude letter: using stories that are personal to the two people who are involved, you and your reader, reflecting on why those stories are important, and then sharing love. And I always say when I sit down to write one of these letters, how do I want my reader to feel? And I hold that in my heart as I write. So do I want my reader to feel that they really helped me? Or do I want the reader to feel really encouraged or helped? Do I want the reader to feel that I understand their struggle? So whatever it is that's going on, that's a really great place to start. How do I want them to feel? And that will guide you in the tone of your letter. Sometimes you're writing a letter, like I write letters to my kids sometimes when they're struggling. And what I want to do is I want to cheer them up. I want to make them remind them that they have strengths that they can tap into. And so they might have more of a humorous tone, sort of, so you can adjust your letters that you write based on how you want your reader to feel. So, okay, so let's go now to the next step. So now that you understand a little bit about what you're aiming for, we're going to just start drafting here. So the first thing is choose one person. And now that you've heard that letter, maybe the 5 people you wrote down in the front are not the right people, but maybe one of those people is. So go ahead and choose one person to write to and just write their name in the box on page 3. And then, how do you want your friend to feel? Do you want them to feel loved, special, supported? Do you want to show them that you're really grateful for something they did? Did they care for you when you were sick? Did they bring you soup every day? That's you want to show them how their support mattered to you. Let's go ahead and write that down as well. And then we're going to get into the story, reflection, and love. But before we do, we're going to do a little exercise. So tell me when you're ready. Everybody have their name and how they want their friend to feel. Okay, go back to that box on page 2 that says, tell me a story. So we're going to just do a very quick exercise on sensory detail. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment and find a sensation of something that made you feel calm or relaxed or even awe. So for me, and Felicia would probably have the same one, it's walking on the beach, hearing the sound of the waves. So just hold that sensation. It could be somebody, when somebody gave you a hug. It could be remembering the smell of your grandmother's perfume. For me, that's a really strong memory. So just pick one memory. And then what I want you to do is I want you to describe all of the sensory details that you can feel about that sensation, about that memory. So what did you see? What did you hear? What did you smell? So like you could smell the perfume or you could smell the ocean. What did you taste? Maybe you even tasted something. It could be the taste of a delicious dessert that your grandmother made you. And what did you feel on your skin? So just write the little memory using sensory details. Nobody has to read this. This is just for you to get warmed up. I'm going to give you 5 minutes here to do that. Just take another minute to finish up. Okay, so that just helps you start finding the details of the story. But one of the things that I find really interesting as I focus on sensory details is that you sort of go into your body a little bit when you're thinking about those sensory details, and that enhances your ability to find memories that that are really important in your story. So anytime you get stuck, you can always close your eyes and ask yourself, what did I feel? What did I see? What did I hear? What did I taste? And somehow memories will come up that you might not have tapped into if you just tried to think about the story. Okay, so go ahead and introduce or explain why you're writing to your friends. So like in Robin, it was the introduction was really about, it was great seeing you and thank you for the book. So, and then of course, the deeper part of that story was about their long friendship. So think about the person who you are writing to, and write down some notes for yourself. Why are you writing to this person? What is your why for writing? Okay. Does everybody have their why down? Does anybody have questions about any of the steps that we've taken so far, or any thoughts about it? Everybody, okay, great, wonderful. Just want to make sure before we go to the next part, which is brainstorm a story or two. So remember that the writer in the Robin letter had variety of stories of walking through the museum together, their times together where they had a lot of laughter. So what stories can you use to show your person how you feel about them, how you are grateful for them? So go ahead and brainstorm a few. You can either do bullet points and do later, or just write your notes, or think of one particular story or two and just start writing them out, whatever works best for you.
Hi, Haley. Haley just joined now. She was.
Hi, Haley. We're on page 4 of the handout. I don't know if you got the handout. If not, it should be in the chat. Okay.
Oh, she's in the car. She said she's okay.
Right now, everybody is brainstorming a story or two to show their how they are grateful to the person that they're writing to. Okay, take another minute, and then I want to go around and hear what from you about who you're writing to and why. Okay. And I'm writing along with you. I'm actually writing to my friend Marlene. I don't know whether you met Marlene, I think. She's somebody I met in Cape Cod about 4 years ago, and she has been a great friend to me. So I'm writing to her because I really am missing her. But I want to show her how grateful I am that she was so supportive of me this summer when I needed it. And and I'm thinking of stories and of course all of the laughter as we try to get into the pond. We swam a lot when it was 58 degrees or something crazy. We were like little kids, with our arms up like this. So trying to put some humor in it and show her how much she means to me. So that's who I'm writing to and why. Anyone want to share? Suzanne, how about you? Are you willing to share?
Sure. I'm actually writing to my husband.
Yeah.
I think during all of this pandemic, more than otherwise, where we're all home, we're sort of more in passing and doing new routines, but all around. So just reflecting on, a couple stories where I've thought of him, just to let him know that he's loved and cared for and is special.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, we often forget the people closest to us. Yeah, beautiful.
Or share the negative stuff with them instead of the good stuff.
Oh yeah, that's easy. Yeah,
exactly.
No, absolutely. In fact, my husband is definitely on that 1 to 5 list. He got me to go do yoga during the pandemic, and man, it's made such a difference in my life,
Oh, it is.
mentally and physically. And he's
Good for
like,
you.
okay, we're going to do it every other day together, and we do. It's wonderful.
Good.
So yeah, I'm really grateful for him for all sorts of things. So yeah, he's definitely on my list. um, and Haley, I know that you're just joining us, but is there somebody who you're thinking about that you want to write a gratitude letter to?
Can you hear me at all?
Yes, I can hear you
Yeah.
perfectly.
Okay, good. Awesome. Yeah, so I have a gratitude journal that I write in every night, like to the universe, basically, just like things in general I'm grateful for. So it would kind of sort of take the same trajectory. It would be more just like general gratitude letter, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes. Although I'm going to encourage you to try to write a specific one as well.
Okay, will do.
And how about you, Ariana? You're muted.
Oh yeah, I realized, sorry. Yeah, my gratitude letter was gonna be to my sister, just because she and I are 13 months apart, so like we're pretty close. And I was just gonna write how she's like very encouraging with her work ethic. Like she tries to go for her goals as much as she can. And it's just like inspiring, I guess, for me, because like obviously I want to do the same, but like just seeing her drive and motivation for things is just like makes me want to do better too.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. Felicia, how about you?
So I was just thinking about a few different people, but I was going to write one to my friend Carolyn Eddy, who Suzanne knows also, who does all the cooking in our space or catering. But you know, I've known her since the kids were little, and she's always so giving. And I feel like I don't show enough appreciation for everything that she's done. And so I was just thinking of all the stories and how she brings food as comfort for so many people.
Yeah, yeah. One last question before we go back to our writing again. Did you think about how you wanted your person to feel and hold that in your heart as you're writing? And I'm going to keep saying that because it's so easy to tell stories, and then you have to ask yourself, is this going to make the person feel how I want them to feel? So, and that's also when you go back and polish your letter, just say, if I got this letter, how would I feel? And obviously, I'm sure any letter that says you're important to me, here are things that you've done for me, is going to make somebody feel really loved and cared for. But it's always good to just keep that lens as you write. So now we're going to a part that I think is really important and helps you actually get to that that part, which is the reflection. Why are these stories important? Why this story as opposed to other stories? And can you just either think about that or show a little bit why you're choosing that story? Reflect on how they helped you, not just you helped me, but be specific and also how it felt for you when they did that. So I think there was some reflection here in the story, was that the in the letter where she got the book and she said, you know how much I love books, and the book you sent is even more special because of the memories. So that's just that's what all that's required for reflection, is to tell the person why the story is important and how they made you feel. So go ahead and add a little bit of that into your notes, and then finish up with a statement of love or gratitude, which is, I'm grateful to you, I love you because you make a difference in my life. However you want to say it, as long as it's authentic to you, it feels like you. So, some people would say, a more religious ending, that would not feel like me. I love, I'm grateful would feel more like me. So this is really personal. Make it feel like you. That's really important, that you be authentic. So go ahead and just think about why your story is important. And then in the last box, write a little ending. And then we're going to put it all together. Let's go ahead and take a few more minutes. Okay, so now's your time to put the pieces together on the last page of the book. You can, and if you've been typing, you can just cut and paste and edit, or you can read all of your pieces and then just edit as you rewrite on page 5. And there's extra pages to write as well on at the end of the book if you're doing it online. So go ahead and just take all of the pieces, the introduction, how you've woven in the stories and the reflection, and the love or gratitude, and put it all together. And you can polish it later, or if it's probably going to be perfect just the way it is right now, because you've already done a lot of the work. So let's spend another 5 minutes putting it all together. And if you have any questions or you're struggling, just raise your hand or send me a chat. Okay, any questions? Any thoughts? Okay, what I want you to do actually is I want you to go ahead and go to the page 6 final reflection. I want you to reflect on how it felt to write to your person and how it felt to focus in on gratitude. Maybe who else you might want to write to sometime later this week. So go ahead and fill that out, and then we're going to share. Okay. So I'd love to hear how it felt to do the process and write to your person. Felicia, will you start us off?
I really like this format because it kind of, like you said, makes it super easy. I usually take a thank you note and I just kind of like write it and scratch it out, rip it up, write another one. And then they're really usually pretty generic. So this made it easy to kind of come up with something custom, but just flow well.
Good, good. And how did it feel to think about the person you're grateful for?
It felt great, you know, and I actually was just looking at the other people on the list. I'm like, okay, I need to write to all these people this week. I can whip this out. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
It made me actually just want to connect with her because I haven't seen her in a while. So
Yeah, especially right now. I think that's really, right now we are all craving deeper connection. I think, yeah. How about you, Suzanne?
I feel the same about the process, similar to Felicia. I feel like, oh, I can, I'm going to set a goal to reach out to especially where I'm not employed and looking to be at some point. What are my goals to reach out to people? How many people? And it does kind of feel a little generic on some of those at some point. So it's nice to go through the process and think about specific memories and specific things that we might not necessarily want to, or I might not necessarily want to, because I want to get that done quick, get that off the list and on to the next thing. And I think I'm happy I chose my husband for that reason, because I think that's the way I've sort of been during this time. It's just like, all right, what do you want? I'm on to the next thing.
Right.
So I appreciate the process, and actually just printed out an extra blank one so we can use it going forward and I can share it with others.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. And how about you, Ariana? How'd your letter to your sister go?
It went well. I feel like it felt very, I don't know, I guess you could say relieving, just because I feel like sometimes, I don't know, sometimes as kids, I feel like, especially my age, we have a harder time saying how we really feel. And I felt like I could get more of my thoughts and feelings out on paper than I could in person. So it just felt nice to be able to say those words.
Yeah. I know, it does feel nice. It does. How about you, Haley? I know you're in a car, so you probably didn't get to write, but did anything resonate with what we were doing?
Yeah, excuse me, I didn't get to write obviously, but I wanted to listen in for inspiration, and I took a look at the format that you guys sent out this morning, and I'm just really excited. I didn't even think about that, Felicia, being able to apply it to when you're writing just even thank you cards in the future. I think that's really smart in a way that I am looking forward to utilizing that format as a whole. So I hope you can hear me okay. Sorry, I'm I don't even know where in Connecticut right now, but I'm excited to put stuff into action.
Great. Wonderful. And actually, you gave me a perfect segue, because at the bottom of the gratitude worksheet, it says, "Thank you for writing with me. I'd love to give you a gift of gratitude," which is my thank you note ebook. So I've actually created an ebook that you can just download, and it goes through all different kinds of people and circumstances. So thanking a teacher, or thanking just somebody like your barista who remembers your latte. I mean, just all sorts of ones, and it really applies. It's excellent for if you're doing a lot of business thank you notes as well. And if you have kids, I give you advice on how to help little kids versus older kids to be able to write on their own, which I think this is a really important skill for them. And I have to say, I kind of grounded into my youngest son, and he's just gone through the whole work, try to get a job. He's a senior in college. And I was really impressed with, he wrote emails, but they were very detailed, like there were maybe 3 sentences, but he always found something that was specific. And as we said, stories are specific. And so the more you can show the person that you were paying attention, the more you can show them how they made you feel, the more that you can show why they're so important to you, the more your letter is going to be impactful. So I welcome you to grab that book. And I also want to mention that I'm doing, I teach what are commonly known as legacy letters, which are letters to share love. Gratitude letters are part of that, but it's also, let's say you're writing to a child who's graduating from college, or we did one for my father when he turned 90, where I got everybody to write letters and we put it into a photo book. I'm actually doing a letter writing retreat this Sunday. So if you're interested in that, I think you have my email address. Well, you do, obviously, on this handout. You can email me if you're interested. I'll send you the landing page. I normally run this as a couple days and at a much higher price, but I decided I love letters. As you can tell, obviously, I've written a book about letters, I teach about letters. I think they're really important right now when we can't really see everyone we love. To be able to share how we feel with people is really special. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed today. I enjoyed writing with you. I enjoyed writing my letter here. I have to go and now polish it a little so I can send it off. And thank you, Felicia, for inviting me. And thank you all for participating.